we are not going to go over every single one, but we can go over ones that are different in each section. So starting in the first section, 1 through 5, what questions do we have? Want to see? Want to go over? 1. Okay. So, not all of them. So we can start with 1. In this section, you have to choose which ones are direct. Notice that it gives you your equation, your direct variation equation is also on the vocab wall. So it needs to look like that. If you're looking at it and it has a y-intercept that is not 0, it is not direct. If it shows the k equation, you can either solve it from this or remember that it's y over x. So if it looks like either of those, then it is direct. So would this first one be direct?
Yes.
Does it look like that?
Inverse variation.
So I know I can guess why you said yes, because the x here, but this isn't a number. The y isn't a number. So that is not direct. Right? The next one? Yes, because it looks like this, and the y-intercept is 0. This one? Yes. You can rewrite this, y equals 2 over 3x, and then it looks just like the equation, so that is this one? No, because of that 5. This one? No, because of the 1. And then this last one. Actually, yes.
Yes.
Because we can rewrite it just like this first one. Y equals 1 over 2x. Questions on any of those? Okay, 2. Okay, so we'll do 2 but not 3, and then we can do 4 or 5. So notice what it's asking you to find. Some you'll need to solve, some you'll just need to solve enough to find the equation. So for this one, it tells us how this varies. We need to calculate k and find the direct variation equation. So our k value, if you don't remember how to find it, it is on the board, as well as you can look at your original and solve for k from there. So we need to do y over x, which would be 80 over 5. I know there's not a whole lot of space on the review, so if you want an extra scrap sheet of paper, you can grab one. On the quiz, there'll be the same number of questions, but there'll be more space, so it'll look longer, there's just more space. Divide that, tell me what your k value is. 16. So since we know our k value, we can use that to write our equation. Y equals 16x. Questions on 4 or 5? We can do 5. Okay. I will say, notice that if it gives you variables, use those variables. If it does not, you can either call them x and y, make them up, does not matter. So for number 5, Kara, sure, whatever, received $66.30 in interest. That will be important. And then $5,100 in her bank account. Usually this sentence comes second. They just put it first. It's okay. If the interest varies directly with the amount deposited, so it means the interest would be your y. The amount deposited would be your x. We can use those two numbers we were given to find our k value. So 6630 over 5100. What would that be? It is going to be a decimal. So we have our K value. Now it's asking how much would Kara receive if the same amount of time, for the same amount of time, if she had $2,000 in her account. So the number in her account would be X. The amount of time goes with interest, so that would be your Y. You can put this in your equation, Y equals 0.013X. And then put in what you have, which is X, and solve. $26 what? Dollars. Questions on that one?
Friendly reminder that while you're following the word problem, the first variable is always going to start off with Y. The next one following will be X.
If the variables are different, use whatever variables are given, but the first is still going to be like your Y, the second is still going to be like your X. That does not change. The second objective starts at 6 and it goes to 11, I believe. Questions in that section? I should say, do we want to see 6 first? Okay. And I meant to say this before, but you could graph these if you're not sure, and look and see, does it make a line that goes through 0, 0? If it does, it's direct. If you're looking for inverse, then that obviously wouldn't be inverse. If it looks like this, where your X is in your denominator, it is inverse. Or for our K, if it looks like X times Y or Y times X, then it's also inverse. And then we can graph it and see, does it look like inverse or not? Would this first one be inverse? No. This is direct. What about this second one? Yes, it looks just like our K equation. Does this look like this? No. That is also direct. This one, your X is in your denominator, so that is inverse. This next one? Yes? This? Because it looks just like this. Even though it's switched, it looks just like that. Right, and then this last one. Is the X in the denominator? So if you wanted to double check, let's say I put this Y equals 4 over 3X in the calculator to double check. I'm going to go into Y equals, type in my equation, use my fraction, and graph it. And it makes that hyperbola shape that we kind of talked about. So if it makes that shape, it is inverse. Questions on these? On the next page, we can do 7 or 9. 8 we could do, 10 or 11. Of those, which ones do you want to see, have questions about? Aaron? 11. Okay. If we want to jump back, we'll do that. Okay. For number 11, the number of revolutions made by a tire traveling over a fixed distance varies inversely to the radius of the tire. So number of revolutions is your Y. You can call it Y, R, N, whatever you want. Radius of the tire would be X. You can call it. Don't make both of these R if you're not using Y and X. Make them different. Or you can make it like uppercase, lowercase r. They just have to be different. If you are, for all of these word problems, make sure that you are writing your original equation, whether it gives you different variables or not, so you know the format. Then it says a 12-inch radius, so radius is x, makes 110 revolutions. That's how many times it spins completely. We can use those two numbers to find our k. So 110 over 12. I'm sorry, this is inverse.
Yeah.
And I wrote both of these wrong. My bad. Y equals k over x. K equals 110 times 12. I was like, that doesn't look like what I did earlier. My bad. Multiply that. Tell me what you get for k. Put that in for k in your equation. And then it's asking how many revolutions would a 15-inch radius tire require. What are we looking for, x or y?
X.
Are we looking for x, or do we have x?
Sorry, Y.
We're looking for y, the revolutions, because we have x. So put 15 in for x.
88 revolutions.
88 revolutions, yes.
Make sure you're also including the word revolutions there, okay? Okay.
Questions on that one? Do we have other questions on 7 or 9 or 8? We can do 9, and then so not 7. If we have a question on 8, we can do that. So for 9, given that y varies inversely as x, what is the inverse variation equation? So that's what we're looking for, the equation. It gives us this point. That's your ordered pair xy. To find our k, we multiply those together. And then put that in your equation. Y equals 12 over x.
Question, how do you write the equation for inverse indirectly? Like,
Inverse is y equals k over x.
so why did you write it as k equals x times y?
Because we have to find k first. So we shorten it instead of us having to multiply the x from underneath to the other side. We just switch the k over and multiply instead. So it's kind of doing the opposite of the variation exactly.
If you forget how to do either of those, the k equation and the direct and inverse equations are on the vocab wall. Yes. Yes. Sorry. Questions on 8, Mariah? Yes. Okay. For 8, we are given an x and y and have to find the x value when y equals something. So this is going to be find k, put it back in, find the other one. So we know k is x times y. So we would multiply those together. When you do that, I would multiply it as a fraction, alpha y equals, because 1 over 3 is a repeating decimal. Leave it as a fraction. And then I'm going to show you how you can use your calculator to kind of help you with this. So then in our equation, y equals kx. It doesn't really look nice because of that fraction. We'll deal with that here in a second. We're looking for x when y equals 1.9. How would we solve for x? would we get x from underneath the denominator? Say that again. That wouldn't really do anything. So, on both sides. That wouldn't get x out of the denominator. We are going to multiply it, but not by 1.9. Sorry. Multiply by x on both sides. So we'd have 1.9x equals 13 over 3. And then you could divide it by 1.9. So in your calculator, when you do this, I would recommend that you do one of these two things I'm going to show you. I'll come back to that in a second. Write the 13 over 3 as your alpha y equals fraction. Come out of it, and then divide by 1.9. So you're not doing like a fraction within a fraction. It'll be a decimal, and that's fine. You can round to 1, 2, however many decimal places you want. So 2.28. Or if you want to avoid putting in the fraction altogether, you'll have to put it in once. But if I take 13 over 3 and store it as some other variable, probably not x because you're already solving for x, don't want you to get confused. Let's say I store it as z, sure, pick another variable. And then I just do z divided by 1.9. It's less the type. You get the same thing. But how you do that is really up to you. Questions on that one? And then the last section, questions there that we want to see, go over, have questions about. $15. Alright, so these first four are just, can you write the equation? You're not solving anything, they didn't give you any numbers, so just write the equation. Z varies jointly, so remember that jointly and directly you are multiplying the variables together. I'm going to write that as a small note. That means inversely you are dividing. Jointly will have multiple variables. All of your equations need k, no matter what. So z varies jointly would be z equals. Put your k right after the equals so you don't forget it. As v and g, so you would put v and then g right next to k. And inversely, so you're now dividing, as d. Questions on that? So we could do 13 or 14 if you have questions on one of those, and then others here. Which one? 13, sure. So for 13, we have inversely, so we're dividing, and then directly we're multiplying. And I wrote all in there, so I'm going to do this over here. B varies inversely is B equals K. We're dividing, so as F, divide F, and directly as S. So multiply S to the side of it, or you can write it as B equals KS all over. Either of those is fine. S should not be in the denominator though. questions on 16 or 17 or 18 and then 19?
17.
Okay. For 16 or 18, if we want to see that set up, we could do that, but we're not going to solve it. For 17, this will be set up just like we just did for 13, except different variables. So C varies inversely, so C equals K over B, and directly as A. So you either put it next to it, or you can put it in the numerator. Then you can start to put in all the numbers you're given. A is 1/2, B is 56, C is 2. Then we can start to simplify and solve for K. We have 2 equals K over 12. Is that what 56 times 2 is? Basically, yes, they look the same. The only difference is jointly has more variables. K equals 224. So then we can put that back into our equation, start putting in the numbers we have. I'm running out of space. And right, so we have A, we have C, we don't know B. C is 10. And A is 14. Someone really quickly multiply 2, 24, and 14. Say that one more. 56. 36. Multiply by B on both sides. And then divide by that. So 313.6 should be your final answer for B. We'll do 19 when we get back. Okay. For number 19, it says the cost C of materials for a deck varies jointly with the width and the length. So our equation would be C equals KWL, or you can call it X and Y, Y and Z, doesn't matter. Whatever that is, you turn it off. Okay, then it says if a deck costs $14.40, when the width is 12 feet and the length is 20 feet, so you can put all those numbers in. Let's close that all the way behind you. So you would multiply 12 and 20. Someone do that for me. Okay. And then we can use that to figure out what our K value is. Divide both sides by 240. What is our K value? 6. Okay, so then you would look at the next piece. We can put 6 in. That is a L, by the way. And it's asking, what will a deck that is 107 feet wide by 4 feet long cost? So we're looking for the cost here. So multiply those all together and figure out what C equals. Say that number one more time.
2,568.
And that would be dollars. Notice that it says to the nearest dollar, so if you had anything with decimals, when you found the final answer, you would round it up to the nearest dollar. Or down if you don't have enough change. Okay. Questions on that one? Or any other questions in general, specifically? If not, go ahead and put your cell phones in a calculator pocket, clear off your desk, grab your calculator,